everyone, I'm Kanika Saxena from kanikasaxena.com. Hope you're all doing well. In this week's video, I will be talking about my decision to return from Dubai to India and how it has been an amazing, homecoming, and how I've loved it ever since I came back to India. So let me start with an Indian what do I say, an approach or a belief. In India, we tend to believe that everything foreign is something very good, and this is the reason that NRIs or foreigners are given special treatment, and we think that they're something very great and treat them that way. So I was raised in Bangalore in Karnataka, and ever since a kid, I noticed that in Bangalore, nearly every family had somebody, some cousin, some uncle, or somebody staying in the US. And again, when those people came on a holiday to India, it was an event, and the entire family would be running, around them and giving them special treatment. And so I thought, okay, there must be something about it, something great in that. And but it so happened that in my house, my dad had a job. He was a general manager, commercial, with an export, with a company called Kudramukh Iron Ore Company, which was then exporting iron ore. So since he was in the commercial department, he had to travel abroad. He used to go to many countries where they were marketing iron ore. He and Whenever he would go abroad, he would bring us lovely gifts, shoes, clothes, and accessories, lot of stuff. So we that was something exciting, and we always looked forward to it, and of course chocolates. But it was not that it was something we couldn't do without, but it was welcome. We really loved the gifts, the saris, and everything he brought. When I was in my eighth grade and my sister was in her sixth, my dad had gone to Leeds to do his MA in management. And when the course was coming to a close, he wanted us to join him in Leeds, so that we could see the place, we could go around and visit other countries. So when we were given the offer, there was a choice. My dad asked us, would you like to come to Leeds, or would you like to go to Patna, Bihar, which is my hometown and where all my cousins were? So, which place would you all prefer? And of course, my mom was expected to go to Leeds, and it was just me and my sister. And as soon as we were given the offer, we said we chose Patna. We said we want to go to Patna. Why? Because we love to spend time with our cousins, and that was our idea of a holiday. It was not, London, Leeds did not entice us. So we went to Patna, and which many people found, they laughed at us. How could you say no to Leeds and go to Patna? But I guess that's how we were. And as I grew up, I completed my engineering. I found that most people in my batch chose to go abroad. They went to, again, US was the thing in Karnataka. So many people went to the US to pursue their masters and do other courses. So at that time, my dad asked me that all your friends are going, would you like to go? I was quite clear that so I did not want to go. I don't know why, but there was this thing that I just didn't want to go out of India. It was not fear or anything, it was just that I did not think it was something special. And then what happened was, it was time for me to get married, and there were as it is in India, the arranged marriage system, the parents look for proposals and they look for the groom. So when my dad was looking for a match for me, I had clearly told him, do not look for NRIs. I do not want to go abroad. And this was a little strange for many people at that time, because as I've told you, the people want to go abroad. And finally I married a guy whom, my husband, who was also someone who wanted to stay in India. He was with his parents, and he also did not think of going abroad. So I was happy. I said, okay, now we are settled, we are going to be in India. But as luck would have it, he had a wonderful opportunity. He got a chance to work with Emirates Airlines in Dubai. So it was a great job, a great salary, and lots of perks. We had a beautiful apartment and everything. So he told me that we need to go to Dubai, and we went, me and the kids, and all four of us were there. Dubai is a beautiful place. It's almost like India because you have so many Indians there, you don't miss India exactly. But for me, I still wanted to go back to India. I had all the comforts. Everything was there in Dubai. I think it is the best of both worlds. If you look at Dubai, you have all the best of things available that are available in the market, in the global market, and you have the conveniences that you have in India. So there was nothing missing, and I had a lot of friends and everything. But for me, there was something missing. And we would make frequent trips to India, and every time I went there, I just did not want to come back. So that's just me. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but for me, it was my roots. It was always India that I wanted to be in. And then what happened? Yeah, but in Dubai, we had this great opportunity to visit a number of countries. So we have visited over 20 countries, which was great. But then, as far as I'm concerned, going abroad is just visiting countries and coming back finally to your own country. As my kids grew and it was time, they were approaching the college age, we had to take a decision where we wanted to go, because Dubai higher education at that time was not of a very high standard. So I was very clear in my mind that I wanted to go back to India, but it was the question of the kids. Where should they study? Should they go back to India, or should they go to the US, Australia, as most kids in the Gulf do? And many of my friends migrated to the US, Canada, Australia, and people asked me, why don't you do it? But as I told you, I did not want to. And there were many, when it came to the education of my kids, many people advised us against going to India. People told us that Indian education is not of world level, it's not world class. And since my children were doing well in Dubai, people said that it's better they go to some good universities outside India. And but I believed in Indian education. I felt that Indian education gives you a strong foundation. And also, I was not very comfortable sending them to Western countries, to a new culture at such a tender age. So those were the reasons that I wanted to come back to India. And despite what others said about Indian education, we stuck to our ground and returned to India. This was after 12 years. We stayed in Dubai for 12 years and then came to India. One thing that deters people from coming back to India from Dubai is taxes. So in Dubai you have the tax free income, and suddenly taxes hit you when you are back in India. But yes, we had to, I mean, that is true of any other country if you move from Dubai. So that is something that we had to accept. And my children luckily did very well in India. They went to some of the best institutions. My son went to BITS Pilani for his engineering and MSc economics. My daughter competed in the symbiosis test and did her liberal arts. So this way, everything turned out good. My husband did well in his career. He got a great job, and everything. I mean, there was nothing more I could ask for, and I was very happy after a long time to be back in India. It was, people find a lot of, I mean, they have so many problems in India. They say that it's not clean, the life is not safe, and all kinds of things. But the question I ask is, in which country are you 100% safe? So that is there in all countries. And for me, as whatever anybody might say, I feel India is my country and I love it, whether it is with all its flaws. I like it the way it is. I don't compare it with other countries and feel it's low or below par in any way. And India also welcomed me because after my kids went to the university, my husband was, his job was going steady. That's when I decided to work, and I was fortunately in a city where it was not very difficult to, find a job. Commuting was not a problem because it was a small city, that is the city of Mohali. So, yes, it was a great opportunity for me to get my first job. And actually, feel that everything turned out to be very good for me when I came back to India, because I started as a content writer, I worked as a content writer, started my own business, wrote 7 books, and all this I feel it was only because I came back to India. The reason is I was more at peace, I was contented, and that was the reason that I could step out of my comfort zone and do things. Again, as I said, the foreign land or other countries are not superior or inferior. It's just about how you feel over there. I felt a sense of belongingness. I felt I belonged here. This is the place for me, and that is why I was happy and everything worked out well. But for those people who like staying abroad, it's their way of life. There's it's what they like. But then there are many who leave India and go abroad, and they are the ones who look down on India. That is something that I'm not comfortable with, because after all, it's your motherland. And how can you, find faults? Of course, there are problems, of course, there are issues, but then which country doesn't have it? The country you're living in has its own set of problems, but then you look down on your own country and appreciate or feel great about the other country that you're living in. That is something that is not acceptable to me. And another thing is, people pass judgments, people pass comments about India, which again I feel that if you're living somewhere else, how do you know what is happening over here? It is based on the picture that is created by media or other sources. I feel if you have to know the real truth about a place, you have to live there, you have to feel it, you have to be a part of it. Only then you can actually understand what the positives and negatives of the place are, because every place has its set of positives and negatives. It's very easy to stay somewhere outside and look at the flaws and comment only on the negatives of a place. But when you live here, you realize that there are good things also. And that's when you can have a balanced approach, a balanced view about the place. Another thing that again is not acceptable to me is the way NRIs and are treated in India. You know, they are given special treatment. It's as if they are. We tend to treat ourselves inferior in front of NRIs or people who come from abroad. We have a kind of we feel low. We feel that they are superior to us, they are better than us. Now, I ask you, in what way? One mindset is that they are earning in dollars or pounds or dirhams or whatever currency, and that currency is higher than our currency. So, rupee has a low value compared to that currency. So, whatever they are earning is better than what we are earning. But let me tell you one thing, whatever you earn in those countries is proportionate to the standard of living there. Your expenses are in proportion to what you are earning. Your saving power is somewhat similar to what it is in India. So there is a possibility that you might have saved more, or you might be earning much more than your what your daily expenses are, compared to someone who's come from abroad. Because you are comparing, say, if you're comparing, the salaries, you're comparing your salaries with the salary of a person who's earning in dollars. So what you feel is, oh God, they are earning so many dollars, I'm earning only so many rupees. But then they are spending also in dollars, they are not spending in rupees. So you have to bear that in mind. And this point I'm making only to drive home a point that you are in no way inferior to somebody who's staying abroad. So there's no reason for you to feel inferior or to treat them special. Treat them like how you would treat any guest or any other family member. There's This is something that I find hard to accept. I have seen in my own friend circle that when somebody comes down from the US, then there are parties and there are, lavish get togethers to welcome them. And the same thing when a colleague or a friend comes from another part of India, there's nothing. There may not even be a get together. I have experienced it myself, but that's the kind of importance we give to people who are coming from abroad, and this is the mindset that I think needs to change. One thing that is, that I appreciate about other countries is dignity of labor. There you can be a security guard, you can be a cleaning person, you can do any kind of work and you will not be looked down upon. You People, they are treated equal irrespective of the kind of work they do. That hierarchy is there in India, and that is something that needs to change. But I don't think it will in the near future. Now, again, the people we admire and we look up to, even though they might be earning in dollars, their jobs might not exactly be, of the level, the grade that you are working in. Today, you might be, holding a high position in a company, but your peer or someone known to you may not be at an equivalent level, even though they are earning a lot in dollars. But position wise, grade wise, you might be in a better position. The same Indians who find it degrading to take on a job like that of a security guard or a clerk or a peon are happily doing it in those countries, you know. And when they do it, when they come back to India, we don't know what they are doing. But just because they have come from abroad, we treat them superior. So this is the mindset that I want people to change. And this, as I told you, I I grew up in Bangalore, and there I had seen it happening, but it did not end there. Later in my life, when I went to live in Punjab, I saw that there was everybody wanted to go again. Almost every family had a family member who was either in Australia or Canada or Singapore, London. So there again, there was this thing about, going abroad is a big thing. Going abroad makes you superior. So those families where they had family members who were abroad always, felt that they are one up. They are somehow better than others. They are not. Nobody is. It's not about the country, it's not about the money, it's not about the position, it's about who you are. That's what sets you apart. You are not inferior to anybody just because they are staying in a different country or they are earning in foreign currency. You are inferior or superior because of the way you feel about yourself. And remember, you are not inferior to anyone. Thank you. I hope you liked watching this video. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Food for Thought with Kanika Saxena. Do like my Facebook page and follow me on Instagram. The links are mentioned in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, bye bye.